Day 11. I'm going to hang one of the new bell up. I thought that would be nice, except I'm going to put the bell on this side and I need the ladders for up there. It's the only way of doing it, otherwise my garland would be just far too low down. Oh, it does look pretty. I think I like the way that's hanging there. That looks really pretty to me. And I've got a really pretty tutorial for you coming up. Well, I think I've got another lovely thing to show you, and it is with broken jewellery and old stuff. This whole make has been inspired by this dish, which I found last week in the thrift shop that's not very far away from me, and I thought it was just lovely, and I got it for £1 because nobody really uses them anymore. But the minute I saw it, I knew what I would do with it. And I'm going to make it into some wreath type thing. And to do that, I'm going to probably wire the handle to there so that I can hang it up on the wall. And I think it's going to go on the door between my dining room and my kitchen. So that's the inspiration for the whole thing. So what else I'm going to be using? I've gone in my ribbons and I've got out every ribbon that I think's useful. That's actually the leftover bit from a dressing gown belt, but it's a good red. So the ribbons. I've got some pliers and some glue, and then I remembered that I had these in one of my kitchen cupboards. So this tin, there's the lid of the tin actually. This tin holds old stuff that came from my great grandma, and they are old pastry or dessert moulds, but they were in a really bad state, and I've actually just cleaned them all up because they were all rusty and awful. So I've got various shapes, but really most of them are not things that I actually think I'd put food in anymore, which is why they've just been in this tin for the last 30 odd years. That's a beautiful one, that one. That's got Barrett and Co. London on it. And it looked really bad, but I boiled them up in a shallow pan covered with hot water and a couple of tablespoons of bicarbonate of soda, and it's really cleaned them all up. So all of these have been given the bicarbonate of soda treatment. Now you can still get these around. I'm not sure where you'd get them, but I used to see them at the boot sales and the charity shops. I would still use those cream horn things. I've only got 3, so they're going back in the tin. I don't think I'll use these ones, little pastry moulds, but you never know. The ones that I don't want to do anything to these because they're too beautiful to drill a hole in or anything. They've come up amazingly. So they are getting kept as they are, and I'm going to think of how I can display them because it seems a shame that they're just in a tin. So these ones here are very marked. They were very rusty, and there's 1 or 2 edges that are really, really sharp. So I'm happy to glue things onto them or drill holes in them. So I'm putting 2 or 3 to one side. So that's definitely one. And they'd make really nice place settings. So I might actually do that with them, but they're going back in here for a moment. I think I'm going to use these 3. So this is a very rusty one. So this costume jewellery usually just hangs on the mirror in my sewing room. If I see bonny costume jewellery and it's very cheap, sometimes I just get it because I think it's pretty and I like the pretty colours. I think I paid about 50 pence or £1 for these, so we're not talking about breaking the bank. So I've already started to cut this one up. I've taken one of the things off, and so what I'm thinking of is gluing it onto these to make some bonny thing that can go on the silver tray. So along with those, when I got the silver tray, I actually got the sugar spoon as well. And I already have a beautiful sugar spoon, so I don't need this one. So I think that's maybe going to get involved. I've also got an old clock key, which doesn't belong to any of the clocks I've got. So that's probably going to go in. I've emptied my beads out, and my Victorian glass beads, and some of these are glass and some of them are plastic, and I've got all sorts of things, so I've just emptied them from my jar, which is there where I keep the big things. I've opened my stash of metallic buttons, and I've also got pine cones, and I've got greenery. This is bay from the garden, and then some foraged pine and spruce. So first things first, I think I'm going to do these things up. So straight away I found this lovely glass drop. It's the only one I've got in green. I've left a thing on there, left a little hook on there, so I'm going to join that one onto there. Make sure it's clasped with my pliers, and then I'm going to glue this onto there. I could use hot glue, but I quite like this runny sort of a glue, so I'm just going to put it on there. I do have a glue gun. If I need to do glue, then the hot glue, then I'll just go and get it. I'm just going to centre that on there. I'm just going to leave that on there, ready to put somewhere else. That's one bit done. I think I'll put another piece on here, and I could still go with that. Might make them look quite nice. Or I could cut a piece off this one. But actually, I think I want to keep the whole thing silvery, and that's just got a bit of a gold cast. So I don't think I will use that one. That can go back and hang on my mirror. I'll leave that one. This one, I have a jewel in here that I thought would work well. Sort of. Oh, I'm going to glue that in there. I'll glue that one next. That looks so pretty already. I think I'll just leave that and see if it sets. If it doesn't, I'll get the glue gun on it. That's that one. I think I do want another piece of this, so I'll just take this off here. And I'll attach something to there. That is definitely a bigger one. If I do it that way around. So I've glued one of the big bits into the middle and surround it with a bit of broken pearl necklace. But where I've used the hot glue is to attach the ribbon to the back, because I still didn't want to drill them, and if I use hot glue there's a chance I can just take that off and peel it off. So they're going to hang fine. I would quite have liked green or red ribbon, but I don't have any, and I do have a reel of the narrow cream, so that's what I'm using. So that's the second one. This one has got the smaller one and the drop, and that's a nice vintage glass drop, so I'm pleased with that. And I've glued and I've made the ribbons quite long, because obviously I don't know how long I need them to be. So I've nearly got all my elements together. And on the key I've used the Yoo-hoo glue, and I've managed to glue on this, which is like a buckle thing, and those two buttons I've sanded the back off. So I think the way that I'll do that, and the easiest way I think to put this on, will be to wrap the wire here. This is just fine soft wire. I'll just make a spring by wrapping that wire around like that. I'll leave that so I can hook it on the top, and then I can just pull that and it'll stay however long I put it. And I'm going to do the same with the spoon. I don't want to drill it or glue it or anything, so I'm just going to thread a bit of wire through one of the holes in the sugar sifter. I'll bend it back. There's always things you can do to work things out. I've got glue all over. I'm never happier when I'm just fiddling about with glue and thread and I don't know, all sorts of stuff. So I'm just going to put that bit of wire up the back of the spoon and then wrap this wire around it. And then if I need to extend that wire I can, but that spoon will be ready to hang. So I think I've got all my elements now. It's time to try and pull it all together. So I've just made a little sheaf of a bit of dogwood and from the garden, the bay out of the yard, and a bit of holly with berries on. So I've got that little bit there. I've layered up a bit of wire-edged Hessian ribbon along with an old dressing gown belt, and I'm just going to make a bow, but I'm just going to wire it together. So I think I'll just do this. I'll just do that like that, and I'm going to put a bit of wire right round the middle and keep the wires at the back so I can attach it to the tray and cut that off. I can fiddle about with all this at the very end. So now I'm just going to try and pull it all together. I think I need to pull you back a bit because you're a bit too near now. So I think I might need to work on it hanging. But I'm going to start by just putting some wire through here and wiring this whole sheaf through the lacy bits of the cutouts on the silver tray. And the greenery should last enough time now. It shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. It's not like it's annual flowers or anything. I think I definitely need it to hang off so I can do the last bit. Already looks quite nice to me there. But I now have to put on the spoon. I need some pine cones on as well, hopefully. I think the final arranging will have to be done when it's up on the door. Well, I've got it up on my kitchen door. I've had to do a little bit of alterational. The greenery was definitely too big and it wasn't letting everything else lie straight. So I've taken the greenery back and made a smaller bunch, and I've just got these ribboned in and tied in a bow at the back so I can arrange them. I think I'm on the end of it. I've got a couple of pine cones which I've just wrapped wire around so I can actually pose them as well. And I think I need to do this while the thing's up. I leave the wires hanging, I can fasten them all off together when I know that I've got it in the right place. Till I arrange everything else. That'll leave everything off. That's better. And I still have these two to put up. And I thought the key would be nice sort of in the centre. So I'm just going to pull the spring that I made by wrapping it round, because I think that's been a nice way of putting it on. And I'm just going to wrap that round one of the stems. Oh, I like that. I do like the key a lot. And then just the spoon. Maybe it's a bit too much. Maybe I'll have to take something off and put it on the tree. I might just have gone overboard. A bit of snipping, I think. I think I have to live with it for a little minute, for a while, and see whether I really like it. I think it needs a pine cone there. I can pull this pine cone into here. Well, I'm not sure whether my ideas totally work, but I'm quite happy with it. I need a bit of a ribbon on here, I think. That ribbon's now covering the hook to just deal with those wires properly. Well, I'll do that once I'm not filming it. I'll just deal with the wires. But I think on the whole, I'm really pleased. I'll show you it. So I've got my dressing gown belt bow with a bit of hessian, pine cones wired in, the spoon, the key which has the buttons glued on, and then the old tart tins with the old necklace. And that little jewel that came from an old brooch. So that's the door to my kitchen. So that seems appropriate for all those kitchen things. I hope if you've liked that, you're going to give me a like and subscribe and see what more Marion's World has to offer. Thanks everyone. See you tomorrow.